Ridley here, the patent professor, and one of our favorite parts of every patenting matter is when we present the granted patent to our clients. So I'm here with Mike Roman, an incredible, talented inventor with a new idea, and I feel like an OBGYN presenting the baby to the proud parents. So anyway, Mike, pleasure to have you here. If you want to go ahead, the best thing about what I do is I get to see products before they're actually on the market, and Mike has an amazing prototype. So go ahead and explain the idea, and I'll follow along here with the patent and the drawings we have.
Sure. Again, thank you for the introduction. So let's get to the product, right? So this is an Air Jordan sneaker, right? This is the platform that we use for the prototype. The biggest problem that we've always noticed, at least in my industry, is that when you customize sneakers, the panels that are used for the sneakers have to go through a rigorous process of taking out the panels, restitching, changing out the logos. So it's always been very difficult, more costly. So finding that out, we found out a process that would be easier to swap the logos in the back, specifically the sections, where you would just slide that out, place that in, and you can swap specific sections back into those pieces. And the logos, we are doing a 3D printing type of design, so it's an on-demand. The customers could upload a design that they would want, and our designers would make that in 3D, either simple logos or very complex 3D geometries, and then we can make that and just apply that in the back without ever restitching or re-gluing any of that pieces. So that should be a much simpler, easier design, and it's a good process for a lot of customizers, shoe designers, and apparels that eventually.
Well, that's phenomenal. And you can see if you zoom in here, like these are the patent drawings, and the patent drawings are general, and they cover, in this case we show it really general, and you see dashed lines, which means the logo could be anything. So that's why it doesn't necessarily have to match the prototype, and that gives Mike the greatest freedom of changing the product and still being covered by the patent, because the patent's good for 20 years. You'll probably go through several iterations of the design over that time period and still be protected. This is your first time going through the patent process?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So tell me a little bit about how it was from your perspective.
Sure. So when I first started with a patent, before that, I didn't know that the idea was patentable, right? So it was more like, it's a good idea. It was something very interesting. I haven't seen it in the market. I haven't seen it with competitors, and I was like, it seems very simple to kind of figure out, but I never really thought a patent process would be the way to go. In terms of doing a patent, you guys did an amazing job helping me with the first steps to it, understanding if there is something like this in the market. The team really helped me understand that very well, in terms of, okay, everything very similar, and then going through the first step of the process, like I believe it was a non-provisional, right, or something like that.
Yep.
Going through that process, and then eventually to where we are right now. So the team did an amazing job.
Yeah,
thank you for that.
Thank you. Any advice that you would have for aspiring inventors, having been through the process, or if you have, I know we've spoken about some possible other patents, second and third ideas, anything you would do differently?
I would
in the process?
Sure. I would say if it's an idea and it's out there, definitely check the possibility of making sure that it's an idea that can be patented. I know there's millions or billions or trillions of ideas out there, but just making sure that do the search first. That was kind of what I understood, is do the search, make sure that it's something that you could pursue, and go down that process, and then the sky's the limit from there. In terms of how did I come up with the idea, again, a little background about me is I'm an engineer, right? I'm also a designer, and if you understand that side of things, it's like oil and water. Engineers and designers don't always mix, because the designer has unlimited amount, like a limitless amount of ideas, while the engineer puts you at a perspective where these are the restricted
It has to
guidelines,
be,
right?
you have to be able to make it, right?
Exactly. It has to be something that's feasible, right?
Yeah.
So understanding two sides of the coin, I think, was a perfect balance to come up with this product. It's like, okay, understand that with design you can go a million ways, but in terms of engineering, how can we make it simple? How can we make it easier for the clients and easier for the people who are going to be using the product? So, and that's where we are today.
Yeah, it's such a, like, so I'm a structural engineer before I became a patent attorney. And what you're talking about with engineers versus designers, like in my field, it's the engineer versus the architect.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Engineers hate architects because they draw up all kinds of things that we can't make work. And architects hate engineers because they come up with these beautiful designs and we kill them.
And we break it down to the bone basic, right?
Break their dreams and say, sorry, but this is not economical, or we can't make it at a decent price, or it's not safe.
Exactly.
So I think you have a real advantage in that, having both sides of the skills in one person.
Right.
And then that plays a major part in coming up with something unique. And that's when we did the search. That's why we recommended you go forward, because we didn't think any of the other patents really captured it.
Exactly.
Okay.